So I just edited this episode and I just wanted to pop in quickly before it starts to let you know that it's a little bit choppy, this one. If you notice, I did cut out a few parts just because we ended up chatting for an hour and 40 minutes, and so I just kind of chopped out some of the parts that probably aren't interesting to people, talking about things that just are irrelevant. We went on a few tangents, and we're trying to keep the episodes to like around an hour. So if you notice it's a little bit choppy, that's why. We're still kind of getting the hang of how to interview each other and how podcasting really works. But yeah, hope you still enjoy the episode. This is our fall edition where we chat about all things fall, decor, decorating, going vegan, Thanksgiving, a plethora of things. Enjoy. So with that, I guess we've jumped into the show. Welcome to Intentional.
Hello.
I'm Christie.
I'm Tay.
And this is a show where we chat about living a more intentional life from a real life, real and raw perspective. We're feeling fall-y. I wore red.
It's our fall episode.
Because it's funny, I was thinking that as I got out of the shower and I was like getting dressed and stuff. I was like, I'm going to wear red because I'm feeling fall. And then you texted me, you're like, I want to wear something fall. I was like, yes, we're in the mood.
We're in it. I know. I was like, I'm not going to wear a flannel because I wear flannels regularly. I don't need that to be distinctive to fall. I don't even know if I really nailed the fall altogether. But this is just
some
like
earth tony vibes going.
Aesthetic.
Yeah,
I feel cozy.
I'm really liking the bandana. I'm feeling bandanas lately.
Yeah, honestly, I've been on the bandana wave for a pretty long time.
That you have.
Like back to working at the doggy hotel, and I would literally take the doggy bandanas and wear them.
Have you ever told that story on the show? Would you like to give a brief history of your...
Of what? Just that I worked at the doggy hotel?
Yeah. But it was no ordinary doggy hotel.
No ordinary doggy hotel. Well, I mean, first of all, it was called Pampered Paws. If you're... That alone is just Pampered Paws. That's what it was. Hotel and spa. If you're
what I'm picturing though? I'm picturing, there was a movie that was, I think it was called like
Hotel for Dogs.
Hotel for Dogs.
Yeah. I feel like when I was like perusing the dating apps, someone literally was like, so like the movie Hotel
was Selena
for Dogs.
Gomez in that?
I don't think I actually ever saw the movie.
Oh. Phoebe from Friends was in it. I do remember that much.
Sweet. Love Phoebe.
Good times. You also didn't know that the show was about dogs because we tend to talk about them a lot, apparently.
They're pretty prominent.
Yeah. I mean, dogs.
They're just the best.
Yeah, they are the best.
Filled with love.
Cats are great too.
Love me a cat.
I love all animals, if I'm honest.
Are we vegan?
Or what?
Heck.
Gee willikers.
2 white vegans in the house.
We meet every stereotype.
Ain't nothing wrong with loving animals.
Animals are great. Mama Nature's great. And I would extend that to like we're animals. I love people too. I love nature. I love all things. Just
all humans. Love them all.
Living creatures, plants. I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I mean, we started with just letting the people know that I worked at the doggy hotel.
Right.
Which is...
And bandanas.
Yes. Yeah, well, so I would like also have to do the customer service, of course, with the clients and whatnot. And so I would try to like purposely wear the bandana that my boss, who was grooming the dogs, had just groomed the dog, and then put a new bandana on their dog. And then I have to like give the dog back to the owner. And so I would try to like purposely match my bandana to the dog's bandana.
Amazing.
I would want to just match the dog and be like, here, have a nice day. Here's your dog. And then I would like slyly look at them like to see if they noticed the fact that I was wearing a matching outfit with their animal.
Like literally, why not though?
Heck it.
Anyways, we were feeling fall today. I think that's where that went.
Yeah. Well, this is our fall episode.
Yeah. Fall episode. A dish. A dish of the show. Edition.
Oh, a dish. Okay. All right. Nice little dish.
I like to abrev words.
Yeah.
That I can.
Sames.
Yeah.
Samesies.
Want to jump into highlight of the week? Do you have one?
Yeah. I was discussing earlier that like my week has been pretty, I feel like a standard week. Yeah. Just like, getting things done. But, also nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's the middle of October and flashy things don't need to be happening.
I mean,
every single day of
the
our
videos
lives.
that I'm filming this week are literally about me cleaning.
That's
It's like
fun.
a nesting season. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
let's declutter, clean.
All right. Well, I've got mine, but how about you start with yours? What is your highlight of the week?
My highlight of the week is going to sound possibly dumb to other people, but I've always had this phobia since a young age where, so my hairline I have kind of two cowlicks in right in front of my head that I've had since I was a baby. My mom has told me. And sometimes when I'm in certain hairstyles, like they just don't work with a lot of common hairstyles that girls usually wear. And so from a young age, I was kind of self-conscious of it, because not really realizing why those hairstyles weren't working. But I felt like back in the day, I would read magazines and, you know, like J14 or like Nylon.
My God.
Yeah, let's take it back. I used to read J14, Nylon, and Cosmo. That was kind of my trajectory.
Right.
Which honestly, Cosmo was like a big part of, so were all of those, but like I feel like I learned so many things from Cosmo that it just taught me so many life lessons.
For sure. I mean, it was cheesy as hell, but like
But
at the same time,
advice.
we were like intaking information that we wouldn't necessarily have gotten elsewhere.
Because there was no internet yet.
Yeah.
There was no like older role models telling me, like, I feel like I learned more about sex from Cosmo than I did from literally anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, you were the older sibling.
Or just like dating advice.
Yeah.
I was the older sibling.
Yeah.
So like, anyways.
Yeah.
Monumental thing in my life. But so I would try all these hairstyles that I would see in magazines and try them out, and I'd be like, why don't they look cute on me, but they look cute on all of my friends? And I'd feel really self-conscious about it. And then I just sort of stopped doing like anything fun with my hair. Like I don't know how to French braid. I don't know how to do any of those things that girls just typically knew how to do. Then as time goes on, I, you know, obviously went through my own experiences with disordered eating, and like my hormones were all over the place. And so my face was really puffy for a really long time, because as your hormones are kind of doing things, like your cheeks just like naturally get puffy. Like you just hold water in different ways as your hormones are kind of leveling out. But I started to get really self-conscious of that. So having my hair down has always been a thing that like I felt like I had to do, which ironically it is down as I'm talking about this, but I just like would keep it down to kind of like cover my cheeks I felt like it made me feel more confident and attractive. But this week I've been like braiding my hair when I get out of the shower, or like putting it in a half pony, and just simple things that are like the least complicated hairstyle ever. But I've been having a lot of fun just like every time I get out of the shower, or I've even just been brushing my hair, which is something that I never thought I could do because I have wavy hair.
Yeah. And
it sounds really dumb, but it's been really fun. And also maybe because I live with 4 boys right now, I'm just like seeking some sort of...
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a great highlight of the week.
And I'm kind of just saying heck it to my little cowlicks in the front.
So
and
fun.
I feel fun.
I love it. No, I mean...
That sounds really dumb, but it's
not. That's a good highlight of the week.
Moving past childhood self-consciousness.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. One step at a time. It's the little things that are the wins. I think I'm gonna go not like similar with my highlight of the week, but just like taking time to kind of like slow down, and I want to say be intentional with like the things I'm doing in my spare time. But like I did a lot of plant work this week. I feel like all week it's been my objective to just like observe all my plants, see how they're doing like health wise. Like some of them gotten dusty as hell. So I like am like wetting a cloth with water and just been like wiping down all of their leaves and like refreshing all of the soil that it's gotten like hard and gross for whatever reason, like giving them some fresh soil, just tossing things around. And yeah, I guess like just getting them all prepped for the winter chill that's approaching here in Seattle.
The energy I need in my life. I've noticed I've kind of like started to neglect my plants since I adopted
that's how
Brew.
I was feeling. I saw a lot of yellow leaves on assorted plants, and it wasn't just like the one problem plant that I usually have. Like it was like all the plants had like yellow at the ends, or like a dead entire leaf that should not have been there. And I'm just like, I need to care for these plants that I brought into my life to care for.
You know, when people say like when you start a workout plan, you should go with a friend, you should have like a buddy system because like it helps you motivate you. When we were living together, we almost had a buddy system with our plant watering.
Yeah,
It sounds silly, but like so when we first moved in, I was like, I'm determined to make being a plant mom work because I've never been great at it in the past.
Yeah.
When I was younger, this plant next to me, this like crazy looking one, I actually was gifted this from a neighbor, and I feel really bad because I haven't been taking care of it the best. But I had one of these as a like teenager in high school. This is one of the first species of plants, I guess, that I ever got, and I had an aqua globe in it, and it did wonders.
Yeah,
because I didn't have to really pay attention to it. I just filled it up with water, and it kind of watered itself throughout the week. And I think I need to get one or two for this one because I've been neglecting I don't know how much water it needs. It's a massive plant.
I'm really realizing that pot size is pretty crucial.
For sure.
Yeah.
I also, like this snake plant's definitely been overwatered. Do they get root rot when that happens?
Yeah, they can.
Because I think it hasn't been looking great. I've been trying to rehab it for like a month, and I must have overwatered it, and I'm going to have to do some things. But when we were living together, we kind of had like, when we were first moving in, we were getting some of our plants. We were like, let's get a schedule. Every Sunday, we're going to water the plants. Yeah. And then we kind of would tag team off of each other, just asking like, did you do
When's
it?
When's the last time you watered these guys? Like, You'd be like, oh, a couple days ago. And we'll be like, okay, cool. Right. We're good for now.
And then the ones in our room were like our own responsibility. But sometimes I would see you watering the plants in the living room, and I'd be like, right, I got to go do the ones in my room. And so it was kind of a tag teaming thing. Yeah, definitely. And I miss that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll text
buddy
you.
System.
We'll
it's not a bad idea.
We'll have to do a texting system.
Just text me a picture of like a leaf.
Yeah, well,
just an emoji. It's leaf day.
Oh, I thought you meant a picture, like take a picture of my leaf and then just send it to you.
That's the most mom thing.
Two moms
I feel like I see
operating together.
I can see your mom doing that. Like,
just
hey,
sending
Tay,
a
just
leaf.
watering the plants.
Kids, see, here's the plant. Oh man, I talked to her on the phone yesterday. She told me she didn't know how to support us with this endeavor that we're on. And I was like, I mean, if you really want, you can make a YouTube account and just like click subscribe. I know you don't watch YouTube, so it wouldn't even matter if you like
By the way, thank you to everybody who's gone over to YouTube to listen and watch the show on video. So much appreciated. Obviously, thank you for listening at all. Any support is great. And everybody who's been sharing them in their stories, it warms my heart. And thank you so much. Like, this has been, I just feel like I'm starting a new project. Which
it's a big endeavor for us both. We're just grateful for those of you that have. And all the newcomers.
Yeah. Thank you so
everyone
much.
else in between.
Yeah. Rue's eating. Oh, it's
an elastic What band. Is she doing? I can just see her ears.
Rue, stop.
Oh, sneaky. You think?
Okay, and we're back.
Hello.
After a mini break.
Small break.
Rue ate a rubber band. We made her throw up.
Yeah.
Not sure if that's what we were supposed to do, but we're getting through it.
But yeah,
here we are.
Here we are.
No more rubber bands, because that's the second time during a podcast. Everything just needs to be kept up high with her.
Girlfriend's too small. She can't be.
She's too tiny.
Can't be eating those things.
Anyways, welcome back. We each brought a coffee or a warm fall beverage.
I lost mine.
It's right next to you.
Oh, I
was gonna say I see it.
I was gonna say on our Rue adventure, I lost mine.
So I would have preferred to use like cozy thrifted mugs just because like we're inside and that's like the fall thing to do. Except all of our mugs are dirty. So we both have our travel mugs.
Yeah, I came over with my travel mug.
Actually feels like a nice luxury right now because since COVID, I haven't used a travel mug that much. Like, it's crazy that this used to be my favorite thing and everybody knows me as the Hydro Flask girl at this point. But I just haven't really needed to use it because I've been home. I've been using just like a regular stay at home mug.
Don't even get me started on this. Well, don't get me started. But freaking I let Harley use my Hydro Flask the entire time that he was in school because he was like, leaving the house more frequently than I was. Like you said, I had no reason for a travel mug. Yeah. Whatever. One day comes back and he
lost it.
No.
Oh.
But what is it called? The clear thing that's in the lid.
The seal.
The seal. Yeah. It's not a washer, whatever. It was just missing. And so now it's not an effective.
You can buy
you totally
replacement
can.
Washers.
We just have not done that. So Harley, if you're listening to this right now and we still haven't ordered it, could you?
Oh, okay. The dogs are trying to play in the background.
Anyways, yeah. So, Harley, please order that if you haven't done that yet. Thank you.
You might even be able to get one at a hardware store or something. I don't know if they'd be
Hydro
food grade
specific though.
I
You
don't
know, like the size of the caps.
I also found out recently that when you do ones that are coated with a color on the outside that aren't just, what is it called, stainless steel? If it's not just pure stainless steel, they can't be recycled at the end of their life. So if you do, I think that's why Clean Canteen and a lot of like the zero waste blogs, even though it's kind of become like an aesthetic, but the reason they do that is because if it's coated in whatever they use to make it the color, they can't be recycled. I might be wrong on that. Please Google that. But I will preface literally everything I say on the internet these days with that. But
yeah, please.
I have been told that. And so, yeah, as much as it's created this like zero waste aesthetic, I think that that's a thing.
Anyway, so we got our fall drinks and our fall cups. And
Tay is the queen of like, you're subtly the queen of like the pumpkin spice.
Yeah,
latte.
But well, the thing is that I use like I'm sure. Okay, well, this was gonna be stupid. I say I actually use pumpkin spice to make it, which I'm sure the other drinks are also utilizing actual pumpkin spice. But yeah, it's like super nice. I would just, I don't even think it's necessarily a latte because I use so much coffee and not espresso.
Right.
But I pretty much just make like a regular cup of coffee, and then a whole bunch of frothed milk. So like I would say like a good inch of frothed milk on the top, and then I would just like coat the top of the frothy milk with pumpkin spice and then use maple syrup as my sweetener and just maple syrup, and it would just like the aroma that it would
pumpkin
so
spice is definitely
yummy.
one of those hot topics. You either love it or you hate it. There's no in betweens. I personally am in the camp of like at the beginning of the year, the first thing that I saw that came out that was pumpkin spice, I bought like a pumpkin spice cereal at Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
I got it out of
my
as well. Yeah, I got it out of my system. Though.
I got
After
a pumpkin
that,
beer.
I'm like, I'm chill.
Yeah.
I don't know.
got pumpkin bagels.
Me.
That's what I got.
Whoa,
but then I didn't get them again.
That's a pretty wild one.
It was subtle. It was pretty subtle. It was like,
okay.
Yeah, it tasted mainly like bagel, and then like as you're eating it, you're like, oh yeah, I can.
One
can
of the
taste
ones
that
I
there's
remember
pumpkin in
seeing
here.
now, and this is something that I was like, what is? I used to be really big into buying date rolls. It's like a date with like. They make them into rolls and they're coated in
sugar.
No, they're coated in coconut.
Desiccated
coconut. And they make pumpkin spice ones where they like put pumpkin spice in there, and they only come out this time of
around
year.
Fall. Yum.
What's another crazy? Should we Google? I think there are pumpkin spice Oreos.
Oh, we got pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls. Whoa.
They were delicious.
Do we have a phone nearby? I feel like we should Google some like crazy pumpkin spice collabs.
Like
and
what?
judge. We should rate them on like scale 1 to absurd. 10 being the most absurd.
I just typed in pumpkin spice absurd. Let's see. Whoa, pumpkin spice Twinkies.
Are Twinkies still around?
I thought they died.
I thought
really
they went
did
out of business,
too.
didn't they?
Pumpkin spice almonds. Pumpkin spice Pringles. This is
okay. That sounds.
lot.
Wait, so are they sweet or are they?
It's pumpkin
salty?
pie spice, so I think they're savory.
Savory chips.
Yeah, like pizza
we should
chips.
close the door. You can hear the boys downstairs. Let me just.
God, how dare they speak to each other? Ugh. Pumpkin spice hummus. Honestly, it's interesting. Pumpkin and feta twister from KFC. Oh, chicken scented candles. Wait, what? If you thought KFC chicken scented candles were ridiculous, then wait until you bite into a crispy, crunchy pumpkin and feta chicken twister. That's finger licking gross.
Wait. Can I just take one step back? Chicken flavored candles?
Yeah.
I want
Scented,
no part.
yeah.
I want no part in that. Not a
like
one.
Specifically KFC scent in your nose, like when you light a candle. I don't know. Yeah, that's some absurdity.
To what level of obsessed with KFC do you want the scent in your home?
Pumpkin pudding toothpaste.
I mean, Could be more absurd. I'd give that like a 5.
Pumpkin spice beard oil. That's just seems unnecessary. Pumpkin spice deodorant.
Oh, native deodorant?
Yeah. I didn't want to name drop.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if I want to walk around smelling like pumpkin spice. Would that be a limited edition? Like, how many of those do you make? How many of those do you think are going to sell? Do you think that would be a gimmicky thing that people would buy and then they wouldn't actually like,
no,
would it
there
go
are
to
totally
waste?
like some pumpkin people out there in this world like that just like support
Want everything.
pumpkin
I mean,
everything all the time.
If it makes you happy.
Totally.
It's one of those things that I feel like as I've gotten more into minimalism, I feel like all of this is going to be controversial because some people are like, don't you dare touch my pumpkin spice. Honestly, fair enough. But as I've gotten more into minimalism, I find it hard to like really want to decorate for a lot of holidays.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, it's about the sentiment, not necessarily about the decor. So that's kind of my hot take. But also I also just feel like at that point in time, I was just focused on other things in my life. Like now as I'm settling down in life, I kind of do want to decorate.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more about like
it was just a phase.
Atmosphere than I am necessarily about like seasonal decorations.
Totally.
If that makes sense.
Totally.
Like I feel like we just talked about like Seattle, it's like we're turning into cozy season out here, like hibernation, indoor setting, that has to be my sanctuary now. And like it also happens to be multiple holidays all during this season. So like I feel like during like, you know, the start of fall, like maybe I'm trying to think because I currently own 0 decorations, so like I don't know how to say what I would do if I did have decorations.
I've always been into like a little touch, you know, like especially with like minimalism in mind, like own a reef. Where did I put the reef that we had last year? What happened to that?
Hopefully they're just in
the
storage here.
Unit.
Or
we
storage.
have the little bike locker. Oh,
yeah,
I think
probably
it's in
there.
My mom was decluttering and got rid of a bunch of like really old vintage wreaths last year. And so we took one and we put it above our fireplace. But like
I'm subtle touches.
Subtle touches. Like I don't need to. My mom is also, maybe this is like a thing that I got from her. Love my mom, but she's definitely known as like the seasonal decor human. She's got decor for Labor Day weekend. She's got it for every holiday you could ever imagine. The people in her neighborhood, what do they call our house? They call it like the decorative house or something.
There's always one of those in the neighborhood, and nothing wrong with that. Like if it gets,
she's not like on the outside of the house, she's not like over the top.
Yeah,
she puts up a couple flags.
Well, yeah, I shouldn't say that there's nothing wrong with that. I think that there's problematic aspects to decorating for every holiday.
Yeah.
But that being said, if it's something that like brings you joy and like gives you comfort and makes your space feel like your space and like your comfort zone, then that's absolutely understandable. But it's just the fact of like overconsumption, buying new plastic things that are just going to be tossed at the end of whatever.
I also think that there's kind of a privilege in being able to decorate like crazy, not even with just like being able to buy and consume those things. I don't have time to do that. Yeah. Like time is a privilege, and I don't have the time or energy because there are other things going on.
Yeah, but that's true for you. Because
I feel like that's across the board though. Like you could be like if I'm a single working mom, I don't have time.
Yeah, but that's so easy to say that you don't have time for literally anything. It's that is that's what true. Life that's is. True. Life is what Fair we enough. Make time for.
Fair enough.
Like purposely create the time for. So yeah, that being said, I'm like all about like the little touches. Like I like to like regularly have flowers in our apartment. And so like during the summer, we definitely had like a lot of bright colors and whatnot. And like now my flowers have like changed to a more like harvesty color scheme going on. And
we also have to acknowledge, like, especially with like the harvest theme, like while we're on that, or like this just came to mind because you said that word, but you know, Thanksgiving and all of that, like there's definitely there needs to be an educational play too, because it's not just about, you know,
like holidays have turned into gimmicks rather than like the base of like
what I think the root
of the holiday truly is.
Like learning about the land that we're on, learning about what the harvest actually was. One of the questions that I get, I mean, we just had Thanksgiving in Canada, and one of the questions that I always got living in America is people would kind of like, what do you guys celebrate in Canada? I always got that. People just being like, so why do Canadians celebrate Thanksgiving? Why do you do that?
Don't even get me started on that.
First of all,
don't.
So the reason that Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier, or at least the way I was told, is because Thanksgiving was always a holiday to celebrate the harvest. Like it's been made into this like whole like, pilgrimage situation, which is also something that should definitely be educated on.
Yeah, like we're celebrating a holiday based off of stolen land.
Right. So, but the reason Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier is just because the harvest is earlier in Canada because typically it was colder. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
You're celebrating the harvest that you have things to eat all winter. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely like with all seasons should be an educational play, and I think that that's all really, really important too. Yeah. Like that has to be an aspect to it.
Totally. I feel like people could easily say like, you know, like not everything has to be so serious. Like a holiday is supposed to be like a fun, happy time, which is like, sure, true. Totally. There is like, I'm totally not trying to be a stick in the mud about holidays by any means. But I think the fact that me and you have gone through that history and like come to terms with the fact that there is a history behind like this holiday, the next holiday, and more holidays to come. Whereas we recognize that like the marketing that is just behind holidays, like, and the capitalism that drives it, just recognize that there's more to this one day than just like.
And granted, I'm saying all these things when like I don't know everything, but every year I keep like trying to educate myself a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah, the holiday season. I feel like we talked about the holiday season last year, actually, on the podcast.
I kind of remember talking about pumpkin spice specifically.
That's so funny. I'm not sure.
I kind of remember that.
But yeah.
Yeah, what are some other things? So decor.
Well, just pumpkins. That goes both. Like, I feel like I'm so tempted every single time I go to a grocery store to like just pick up one of those like cute ass ugly pumpkins, and I'm like, oh, it's so
the
cute.
Ones with the little warts. I love them.
Love them. And I'm like, that would totally like be like my little touch of like holiday season in my home. But that being said, like I just can't bring myself to like, why am I buying this pumpkin that was probably grown in California and got shipped to Washington State for it to sit in front of my house and die, like kind of deal.
Yeah.
But that being said, I feel like I would be more inclined to like go to like a local family farm and like know that like their profit is based off of my consumption of this product and activity. And I feel like I've done in the past, like then the travel gets taken away from it. And like, I love pumpkin seeds. That's my favorite part.
Use the whole pumpkin.
Yeah. So like, even if I didn't necessarily like carve it and like make a whole design of it, I would definitely at least like eat the seeds. Yeah. And then if I'm not really sure, I guess if I did like an indoor display of the pumpkin, I would then consume the pumpkin and eat it. But like if I let it sit outside, I don't know. I don't think I would probably eat it. What would you do?
Sorry, what was the question?
Like if you use the pumpkin as like outdoor decor, even if it's just like on your front steps, you know, especially with COVID times.
No, I think I mean, the whole skin rind is on there.
True.
But if you're going to eat the flesh of it,
you know,
it kind of depends on what weather you're into. Like, one of my roommates bought some out, and they're sitting out front, and like there's definitely like some rain that's been sitting on them, and it's at some point will start to, if not has already started to, like kind of get some mold action going on there.
But that being said, at least like we know that we will properly then compost it, and so that it does have like further life, you know.
And alternatively, if you are like myself, like I was just saying, who tends to I want to get into decorating, like I'm starting to like get more into that energy. I just kind of took a couple years where it just didn't matter as much to me, I think. But you could be lazy and go to a thrift store and buy some secondhand decor.
Oh, for sure.
There's especially like mid-year stuff pops up all the time, and you're like, why would I need Halloween decor?
But I mean,
It'll
even
come in
also
handy
right
later.
now, I know that the Goodwills are popping off with their Halloween decor and whatnot.
Sometimes I wonder, so do you think they have storage rooms where they keep seasonal things that are being donated and then they just bring them out? Because you would have to have a massive storage room. Do you think they bring them to like the Goodwill headquarters for each city and then just redistribute the items seasonally? This is a guess. I have no idea.
I mean, I know that they continuously obviously get like shiploads in. So like, I wonder if like the headquarters just like, backstocks all of the holidays and then ships them out to all their different stores. But that being said, like also like local donations, like just stay local, like you donate on site and then they literally shift through it and then just put it out into the storefront.
Well, not always.
Yeah, not always. Yeah. Not all stores, but I'm
Oh, you mean like small mom and pop thrift stores?
Yeah, but even like Goodwill, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, Goodwill does have a headquarters in Seattle, so I'm sure, and it's like a large place. I'm sure there's some sort of, like, that's what I don't understand about seasonal decor, because it's like if they're getting Halloween stuff donated in July, sometimes I do see it in the thrift store, but there just seems to be more of a plethora around this time of year, and I can't imagine everyone's just all of a sudden
donating Halloween
seasonal decor.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a combo of a bunch of things that we definitely
if anybody
don't have the information.
If anybody knows, feel free to leave them in the comments on YouTube because
Oh,
if you are listening on audio, by the way, if you want to find the channel, it's always linked in the description of the episodes. I have it linked usually in the bio of my Instagram, and if you go on my YouTube channel, on the homepage, there's like a featured channels segment, and I've linked it there.
Cool. Well, that being said, should we move on to like maybe some questions and answers that we got on our last video?
Sure.
I like this. This girl wrote, or you know what? I have no idea their gender. This human wrote, hot take subject question. Does technology, the internet, affect the low waste, no waste movement?
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, they said, like, for example, ebooks versus real books.
Oh,
and like, would you rather use an e-reader, go to the library, or buy used books? Email versus snail mail, CDs, DVDs versus streaming platforms, etc.
So I think it's actually something that I'm still kind of researching in full. But the internet, for example, actually has a massive impact footprint wise, because things that are on the internet need to be stored somewhere, and they're stored in these like massive databases.
It's crazy.
It's actually so crazy because the
you
think about the cloud's not the cloud,
not just it's imaginary.
Yeah, like those files are physical somewhere.
There are thousands and thousands and thousands.
I also wonder if people just assume like, oh, we'll just upload it to the cloud. Like how much useless stuff. How would you pictures that I just am too lazy to go through end up?
How would you describe what these things are that where the cloud is stored? They're not like generators.
No, they have a name. They're
and they're just it's blanking on me right now. Large in
every time
size.
I forget a word, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, I try to put them on the screen. That's why if you ever hear those pop noises, it's words that are going up on the screen.
Yeah. Well, anyways, their footprint is insane. The amount of energy that it takes to generate the cloud is just
I thought it wasn't recording again. I was wrong. It's recording. Yeah, sorry. No, but the whole infrastructure is actually wild, and it is something that I'm still learning about. Like Amazon Web Services, for example, like a lot of your favorite companies run off of that. That's actually one of Amazon's like largest income generating streams is their web-based services. So they don't just sell stuff on Amazon. They also have AWS, which is like you can build websites and platforms off of them.
Wow. Interesting.
I don't know exactly where I was going with that other than Jeff Bezos, but yeah, I'm still educating myself on it, but it's massive. With books, it's so hard because it's like, well, thrifted books are already on this planet.
Yeah.
They're not really creating any excess unless you're shipping them to and from a location. There are so many great bookstores, however all of them are going out of business. So it's hard because it's like, are you getting your thrifted books from thriftbooks.com or whatever it's called? Are you getting them from Amazon? Are you getting them from eBay? Ebooks, in theory, like I just personally, I love the idea of a physical book, and it really depends on the situation because I do have an e-reader as well, and you can rent you can rent ebooks from the library, especially during COVID. I mean, I think a lot of libraries like in Seattle, you can still go and pick them up You just have to arrange it and you kind of go and you pick up and drop off. But like you can get ebooks without even leaving your house from the library. You just rent them.
Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, ebooks exist, I guess, in multiple different forms. I was also going to go back to like the freaking Jeff Bezos concept, though. Most ebooks these days are consumed on a Kindle, and then by nature,
My e-reader is a Kindle.
You have to have an Amazon account and then be an Amazon supporter and consume and buy your books through Amazon.
You can also do it through
not my
your
personal
phone
preference.
Or, you know, an iPad or whatever device you want to use. But yeah, I mean, no person is perfect because those are items that are like so, you know, you could hate Apple, but like I literally couldn't survive without Apple. I don't have a choice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like literally everything I do is I use AirDrop probably more than anybody else. I
like between your devices.
Yeah.
But that being said,
only know how to edit videos and stuff on Final Cut Pro. And then it's also, like YouTube is not like all of these files are being stored somewhere. Yeah. All of this is to say is I'm not like the most educated on this. This has been something that I really do want to educate myself on. I think Geeta Marie has like great videos on it. She has a lot of really educational videos on YouTube. I just haven't watched them yet. I'm very behind on my educating.
No, I mean, I think the point of these questions is that there isn't a right answer. And like, we aren't here to have the right answer.
I don't have the exact data in front of me to determine both of them have impacts, but which one is less.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, it's kind of just it has to be your judgment of like how you are going about the consumption of it.
It's also like sometimes one thing is accessible to me and the other thing isn't too.
Here's also an interesting question for you that me and Harley are recently facing, and then we genuinely are not sure what to do about. We found a collection. I don't know how he acquired them, like in his travels or just like when he was growing up or whatever, but it's a compilation. I won't necessarily say the name of the groupings of books, but it's like a regularis known series
like Tom
of
Hardy
books.
or something.
Yeah,
I don't know why
like that. And
is Tom Hardy a person?
No.
Yeah. No, Tom Hardy's a person.
No, the Hardy Boys
Hardy
series.
Boys.
Yeah.
My dad used to read those. Sorry,
I don't know if we want to cut this out or not, but it's literally the Hardy Boys series that I'm talking.
Is it? Oh my gosh, amazing. My dad used to read them and he had all of them.
Well, what I was going to say with that is that we opened up some of the books and it's just like dated. Like it is very obviously dated. Like there's like the racial way that they speak to each other and just like gender norms and just like it just is off. And like the concept of like him holding onto these books is like that they're like these adventure books and like something that he would love to instill if in, you know, someday he decided he wanted to have children kind of deal, you know, adventure books, awesome series.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so we open them up and we're like, this is kind of not what we would want future generations to be consuming.
I mean,
and like they're physical books and there's like probably 25 of them that we have. Like we have an entire box of them and we're like, what do we now do
with them?
Yeah.
Well, I would say on the note of like, you know, passing down something to your kids, like there will be other adventure series.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, no,
series.
We came to the consensus that like we no longer want these books in our lives. Right. And so we're like, what is now the following step? Because then there's like the moral aspect of, if we don't morally align with what's in these books, why would we, if we're going, if we're going to circular economy, why would we want to pass this along to someone else to consume or someone else's children to consume?
Right.
And then go forward with.
Is it that bad? Like it's really bad.
I don't know. We literally opened like
has
one.
To be that bad, but if it's bad, it's bad.
Yeah. I mean, that's just how. Yeah, we saw enough to make us like, if we feel uncomfortable and like we're reading this, and like as a kid, you're not even going to realize like that this is kind of an uncomfortable thing being said. You know,
it's hard because, you know, in a situation like that, like, you know, that's a classic, nostalgic series, right? It's art. It's
exactly.
It's the same thing as like the whole To Kill a Mockingbird thing. I kind of look at it as like things like that obviously are important to our past, and can be studied, but like point out what's wrong with them. But that being said, like there will always be artists and there will always be new art out there.
Yeah, exactly. Better things to
like
consume.
Support new artists
but
too.
What
support
do we
all
do?
Artists. Right.
What do we do? I personally voted to
burn them. How did I know you were going to say that? I mean,
the only thing is the bindings, which I was like, we rip off the bindings, we'll burn all the pages, and then the only waste that we have are the bindings, and we would have to figure out how to properly dispose. I bet there's somewhere
that's either looking for Tom Hardy books specifically. No, it's not Tom Hardy. Hardy Boys. Tom Hardy is definitely a human being.
He is. He's an actor. I think he's like a really good looking actor. He's like he's in action movies.
Oh, what's Tom Hardy? The show on Netflix. It's so good.
Peaky Blinders.
Peaky Blinders. Such a good show. If you haven't started that on Netflix yet in your quarantine endeavors, go for it. I recommend. But I bet there's either like a historic. I mean, there were so many Hardy Boys books though. Yeah,
there were so many.
There might be places that are like looking for pages of books to like stuff in something or like repurpose the pages of something. They could be recycled. That would be something very specific that I don't have the answer to. Somebody in the comments might.
All right. What other questions we've got for you guys? Ooh, this is a good one that I didn't see before. What are tips for being low waste and vegan while living with your parents?
Ooh, I actually have a whole video on this on my YouTube channel. It's really old though.
Yeah.
So I can't, and I was living with them at the time, so I probably had better advice then than I do now. But I think my biggest takeaway in that, and what I've always told people, is focus on the things that you can control first.
Definitely.
So like your parents are not necessarily dictating what you're going to wear. So don't ask for new clothes, wear what you have, and thrift instead of go to the mall. And if your parents have a problem with that, educate them. I think like showing them movies and showing them documentaries, like things like Forks Over Knives, things like Cowspiracy, things like what's the fast fashion one? Why can't I think of the name right? The True Cost. All of those documentaries are amazing, and it's just like a quick way to educate them. And I think too, it depends on the person. When you're speaking to your parents, they're not necessarily going to take to their children as a source of advice. And this goes for all family. Like I've had this problem for so many years of like my parents and family members don't want to listen to me because I'm their family member. They want to listen to a doctor. They want to listen to somebody that has like, not that they have to have credible experience, because it could even be just like a mommy blogger, but somebody who's not their kid, they typically want to listen to. That's just the way it goes. Or someone that's not their sister or their brother, they typically want to hear somebody that they see as an expert or that they just don't personally know. Even though you could be a dietitian yourself, you could be a doctor yourself, and they still don't want to listen to you.
No, it's different.
But yeah, so I think like thinking of who that person is and like what are the important things to them. Like everybody has an angle that you can kind of work. Like, my dad seems to care more about the environment, so I bet if I showed him Cowspiracy, that would have an impact on him. My mom seems to care about like her figure more and like dietary stuff, and like that would appeal to her more. Those are just my personal parents' opinions, but like you can kind of like show them information that would benefit them and kind of get their, it sounds manipulative, but I mean, show them factual information. Don't show them
where I was gonna go with it is that I feel like from personal experience, like I just first had to come to terms with the understanding that I am a completely separate entity than them. So like I have my opinions, they have their opinions, but in that wavelength, like I've always been a big proponent of lead by example, and like don't be pushy necessarily about anything, and just kind of show them what the options and possibilities are, and it is up to them to adapt or not. And I don't even know if necessarily this question was like, I don't remember if it was a girl or boy, but the person just like was asking even just like how to cohabilitate, I guess.
I think just like focusing on, because typically when somebody doesn't understand something, they want to they're genuinely curious a lot of the time. And they like, I think educating is really good, but also just focusing first on the things that you can control, because what you wear is not necessarily what they're going to be wearing. So you have control of what you're wearing. You have control of what you're, using as skincare.
Yeah.
You have control of the meals that you're cooking that they're not cooking for you.
Yeah.
Even if it means like, switching to a cereal or something for breakfast, or like a school lunch, that like every meal every day counts, and you are making an impact not only on your health, but on the animals and, on the planet as well. And yeah, it's hard because like, typically like a dinner everyone makes together. And I think that this is something that you felt too, because before you moved out here, that was like the one thing that kind of kept you from going fully vegan.
Totally.
You were vegetarian for a while.
Yeah.
And I ended up going vegan when I was in university and I wasn't living with my parents. And my sister went vegan when she was still in high school and she was living at home. And I think my mom would kind of experiment in making things for her. And ultimately, like my sister and I just started cooking for ourselves.
Yeah, I was going to say like going with that, like definitely my decisions that I made were like selfish decisions that I was like very consciously aware of. But like I am very privileged that my parents happened to be incredible cooks.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living at home and they were willing to cook for me every night. And so I always had the opportunity and choice to cook my own food should I have wanted to do that. And like that even being said, I could cook literally right next to them and then have dinner with them at the same time. Right. Just prepare food in a way that I would have wanted it to be prepared. But I was living with people that,
were amazing cooks. So
amazing
it was hard to give up.
And it was hard for me to let go of the cheese.
Right.
And
I do think like if it's something you want to do, it is a selfish decision. You can't expect them to make changes for you. Yeah. You either have to go and do your own thing, or you have to continue what they're doing. Because like in life, no one's going to make changes for you unless you make them for yourself. Like that's something that I've definitely learned over the years. Like you have to go out and make those changes yourself. If you want to change your life, you have to do it. Money might be a thing. Like you might not be able to, your parents aren't going to buy you separate groceries, for example. I think starting with basics, things that are already around the house, like maybe rice, beans, potatoes,
vegetables,
like the things that are already in the house, and using those, and saying I'm still going to eat the same like whatever money you're spending on me, or say why don't we test this? Why don't you give me $20 a week? We'll start with that, to just buy my own ingredients and like experiment with some things, and that'll be the same $20. Like try to make it like the ingredients calorically dense, that's going to like fulfill your needs, so that you're not like starving all the time, and just try
the supplementary ingredients that you wouldn't be getting like as your standard grocery.
If you can work out some sort of budget, and even if it's just like 1 or 2 meals a week, there are some really, really, really budget friendly things that you can make. But sometimes that's definitely a thing, like depending on how young you are, your parents are still doing the groceries and they feel like it's going to be expensive for you to go and do this, not understanding that not everything is has to be like faux meats and products. Like most of what I eat as a vegan, I didn't even start eating faux meats until I started to date my boyfriend, because he tends to gravitate towards them most. But when I first went vegan, I lived in the middle of nowhere. There weren't any of that stuff.
Tofu was $2.
There was tofu and there was faux hot dogs. Those were literally the only things that the grocery store had back in the day. And I still don't cook with tofu. I used to buy the non-vegan or the vegan hot dogs because they were actually pretty good. But most of what I eat is, the staples that everybody else is eating, just in like larger quantities. So like pasta is really cheap with a nice like pasta sauce. I never know how to say it, because where I grew up, we said pasta, and then I moved to America and everybody said pasta. Anyways, I think pasta is really the correct way to say it if you really want to go against my own people. But pasta, tomato. Yeah. But yeah, things like pasta, things like rice, beans.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to like the things you can control the things that you can, Totally. Even like just like things that go along with vegan lifestyle, like recycling and composting. Like I know back on the East Coast, that's not like as ingrained in the culture as it is out here. And like, I'm sure that in the South, it's the same and whatnot. So it's like, okay, maybe they don't recycle, but maybe you buy her recycling bin and you start sorting the recycling. And like, even like if like your mom throws something in the trash and like later on in the day you see that bottle in the trash, like you just like, you don't have to say anything to her, just like literally consciously take it out, put it in. And like over time though, I think that like, if they care about you and whatnot, like they'll see the subtle changes. And like if you're not forcing it down their throats, there's like an element that makes them naturally curious. As humans, we're all curious.
Yeah.
And
what's interesting is like when I first went vegan, like my parents were pretty against it, but my sister and I both went vegan and kind of like tag teamed off of them. And my parents are definitely by no means vegan now. They definitely still eat all things, and I definitely still come home and my mom is like, there's a bit of cheese on it, it's fine, right? And I'm like, no, it's gonna be I'll be fine, I'll survive, I'll eat something else. Another thing I should have said earlier about the money thing is like, maybe it does entail like you get babysitting and you know, earning a couple of dollars just to like say, this is something that's really important to me and I really want to do it, and like I'm not going to put any burden on you guys. And you know, it doesn't have to be a big job, like something like babysitting. Granted, all of this is subjective. Like it really depends on the
everyone's
person,
experience is different, like how their parents react. Like back to what I was saying, I was very, very lucky to have the parents that I have, and like they were very welcoming. This being said, also I was vegetarian when I was living with them. I didn't go fully vegan until I was out here. But even like when they came out here, like they were very conscious of like where we could eat and like what restaurants we could go to, and like catered to me, because they understand that this is something that I value, and they also understand the health benefits for sure. I don't know. I think that like there's always kind of a domino effect with like veganism in some way, shape, or form.
Right. What I was going to say is that when my sister and I first went vegan, my parents thought it was like this radical, like absurd thing. And they definitely still are not, but they do make a lot of vegan dishes and they're very like accepting of it in that regard now. And I do go home and like there are things that my parents have definitely made swaps with that they probably wouldn't have had we not, you know, done that. And things too that, you know, I'll go home for Christmas or whatever and my mom will have bought things that just like anticipating us coming home and being like, oh, I bought you this vegan cream cheese or whatever it is, thinking like maybe you like this. And I'm like, oh, cool. And then she ends up, you know, it's more for her than it is for me. Yeah. But yeah, I would say definitely like my biggest mistakes were being aggressive with them, because in the beginning you start to learn about it
because there's science is back behind it.
For so many reasons. Like I think once you start to be aware of like the animal agriculture system is just so messed up, and like the marketing, and like you just start to learn all of that. And like I definitely have my moments of just it really sinking in and me being like, there's an animal holocaust out there. And you know,
it's so interesting because there are so many different motives behind it, because of course like I'm a big animal person and that's like a large element of it for me, but also not gonna lie, pretty selfishly I'm vegan for my health, and like my health is a real factor in my life that I've had problems with, and I'm trying to be my optimal self, and based off of the science that I've researched, veganism is the way to achieve that.
And it depends, again, it depends on the person too. If you're trying to like educate your parents, it might be documentaries, it might be showing them, you know, Dr. Greger's YouTube channel and showing them all of nutritionfacts.org or any other plant-based doctor who's doing, you know, evidence-based, non-biased research and whatnot. But or a book, like it really depends on the person and what's like going to be the most you know, you kind of know your parents and it's like, oh, this avenue is, you know, their thing. I have a feeling we're way over an hour. I was about to say,
I feel like I think that's good on the
we could even continue to talk about this, or just like the vegan transition in a whole other episode too, because
totally
I could go on and on and on. But I like to think that, you know, first of all, even if not every meal is vegan, like you're still making a difference, even if one meal a day.
Oh, absolutely.
Or, you know, one meal a week. Like,
and
that's
it's like
still
difference to your health, difference to the animals, difference to the environment. Like it makes a difference.
Yeah. And I get that people are skeptical too. Like if your parents are skeptical of like a decision that their kid is making, it's because they care about you.
Yeah, we're tangenting.
Yeah.
We're going hard.
Anyways, I can go off.
I think to conclude, we're here to say lead by example, do what you can, show them how you're implementing it into your life, and whatever comes of that will come of that.
Yeah.
And eventually, presumably, you will no longer be living with them, and you will then have your own life to set up your own foundation and go from there.
Yeah. I can wholeheartedly say that going plant-based, going vegan, whatever you want to call it, was like the best decision I've ever made. And even if I wasn't like fully, every swap you make it took me a while to find my groove with it, which is again a whole other topic, because I did fall into like fad diets within it, and I think that that's been a lot of people's demise within it. But I don't know, I'd like to think that even if I didn't go fully, like every swap would have felt really good, even if it was just like one breakfast.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't even think that I've fully cracked my mom. Like, my mom still uses freaking plastic water bottles, and it drives me insane. But like, what can I do about it? Like, I just have to understand that like I don't get to control her behaviors.
No.
And she even like bought a new water bottle and was like super hyped about it, and like told me about it when she was like still physically going into her work, but like she doesn't do that anymore and whatnot. So like, that being said, I don't know what she does. I live across the country from her, so I don't know on a daily basis.
But also, like, you two are different people.
Exactly.
So
it just is what it is, and do what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We're gonna get out of here.
In the future, we're gonna try to remain at 1 hour.
Yeah.
But
it was great chatting with you.
it's great chatting with you. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you listened this far, thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. To everybody who's been sharing to all the episodes, thank you so
Thank you.
much. It means the world to us.
Yeah. All right.
Till
Till next time.
bye.
Good boy.